Alright, let's expound more on that classic hard rock group AC/DC. The 90s were a pivotal time for them, especially since they've re released their new album, Back in Black. Oh, wait, never mind. Let's talk about direct current and alternating current. Sometimes I get my music lessons mixed up with my sleep lessons. Although, if you ever listen to any of AC/DC's greatest hits, you'll notice a theme of high voltage electricity. And specifically, there are two flows of electricity from power sources, and those are AC and DC, or alternating current and direct current, respectively. Starting with alternating current, this kind of electricity flows back and forth through time. This also makes the voltage oscillate back and forth with the current. Flowing back and forth means reversing the flow of electrons from one way to another, or towards the cathode versus towards the anode. This would show up on a graph as simply going up and down across the x-axis to show the polarity going between negative and positive. We measure these oscillations of alternating current as cycles per second, or hertz. This is an interesting animation that shows how water can flow either way as the water pump is oscillating. You can also simulate a resistor with a pinched piece of pipe, as we have right there. I'm not really sure I can understand that it's going from one way to another, and it's a helpful way to visualize it. I'm not sure I'm not a plumber or a physicist. I just play one in my home movies. I'm just wondering what kind of what this would accomplish in the plumbing world. Yeah, I'm just interested. Most every outlet you use at your house or at work are almost always AC power. AC is easy to generate and transmit over long distances. At very high voltages, energy is transmitted more efficiently and less energy is lost in the transmission. According to Ohm's law, the higher the voltage, the lesser the current. Current can generate heat against the resistance, and it can cause resistance or impedance with AC. So less current will generate less heat. AC can also be converted to and from high voltage easily with transformers. Direct current refers to power sources where the power only flows one way. It will not oscillate back and forth. It does have the ability to transmit one way or the other, but never back and forth. It is unidirectional. The conventional flow of electricity, so say the textbooks, is from positive to negative. In DC power, voltage and current may change as long as the direction of the current does not. Batteries, AA, AAA, your car battery with 12 volt, are the most common source of DC current. And, back when I was in sleep, we didn't have electric cars with these gigantic batteries and all these other things that are so tiny and everything has a battery in it. Those batteries kind of act the same way, but sometimes they act more like a capacitor. And so I like an old-timey battery. I understand it more. Direct current not only flows in one direction, it provides a constant voltage or current. AC generators can produce a DC current with the aid of a device called a commutator. Conversely, a rectifier can convert AC to DC power. We call it a rectifier because rectification means straightening out. Batteries provide DC power. This graph shows time and magnitude, the magnitude meaning voltage or power. It's just a straight line. A water tank is a good example of the flow of direct current from a battery. The tank is gravity fed, which means gravity pulls water down through the tank and out the pipe. Once the water is gone, the flow is gone as well. Here's a pretty neat animation I found on how a battery works and provides a DC current. Two metal plates are separated by an acidic electrolyte solution like conductive paste, which allows the flow of electrons once the circuit is closed. It's a chemical reaction between these two metals is the important part. And batteries don't really look like the animation. They generally have like a metal cylinder or can which is filled with the electrolyte solution, and there's a rod in the center. But again, I'm no engineer or electrician. Here are some of the electrical symbols you may see in a drawing or schematic diagram of a circuit. When we talk about schematics like these, we assume that all the components and wires are perfectly manufactured and operating as they're supposed to. In the real world, we realize that there is resistance and impedance sources in the environment which will oppose our electrical force, but in schematics, we assume that they are perfect wires and everything is perfect. Even though we are imperfect people, maybe that's why. Alright, the short one for that one, AC/DC is not too hard to understand. When you apply it to certain things, that's when it can get tricky. You can remember that because we have waves, well, does DC show waves? No. Alternating current does, because it goes back and forth. Oscillating means going back and forth. Can you think of an oscillation that we have in the brain? I think my favorite one is alpha waves. There's an oscillator or a generator of oscillating waves in the back of your brain, and that's what we pick up. And it's not very big, but if you get your electrode right on the sweet spot, that's a great oscillation. You might say slow rolling eye movements are a slow oscillation. Alright, you might say my voice is a slow oscillation. Now I'm just being crazy. Alright, let's end the video.